Hi, today we're going to go over some of the financial tools available to you on your Toolsy account. These are really great tools to be able to help manage, both to help generate estimates and also check profitability on insurance jobs. And so to show you how these work and explain these in a little more detail, let me first start by going to the financial section under a particular lead. And so if we click on this, this is going to be just your basic information here: your contract price, your deposit amount, your contract date, any out-of-pocket if it's insurance, and then you can also track if it's an insurance. If we go onto these other tabs, the first tab we'll look at is called the Insurance Profit Checker. And what this does, it allows you to enter the insurance replacement cost value, RCV, or contract price, and then it can calculate against material and labor, and then any permitting fees, and then you can add additional items. If you just click on this, it will add additional items, and you can add as many additional items as you like. It's ultimately going to come up with a hard cost, and then you can also calculate some miscellaneous expenses, and then it really comes down to how do you calculate your sales commission. And some people do it based on office overhead, and so you could have that based upon the office overhead, and then some of it's just a straight commission off the gross value of the contract. These default values are set in settings, and we're going to go over to settings in a minute to take a look at that. But those values are set in the settings section. And so it really makes it easy to calculate this. Also, when you get into unit prices for particular items, you also would have default settings there as far as the values of those. And so the default values will help calculate these at the end of the day. You'll come up with a total job cost and whether it includes or excludes the sales commission, and then you come up with a net profit. So this is, and then a profit percentage. Super handy, because once you set up the default values, then you just have to plug in a couple things here and it's going to give you the total number. On the retail side, it's a little bit different because you're driving to a price as opposed to operating off of what the insurance company has provided. This one, you've got a material and labor, but you can also add additional items. You have many different units of measure here. And then you come up with a hard cost as well. You have a miscellaneous, any permitting. And then once again, are you calculating your sales commission based on minus office overhead or just straight commission? This will be set up in the default settings, and I'm going to show you where those are at in a minute. But you come up with a total cost, total subtotal, and a retail price. And then this is a retail price plus sales commission. So some companies want a retail price excluding the sales commission. Some want to include the sales commission. And so you can decide, and there's both options here you can see. You can save this as a PDF, and it will go into the PDF section for kind of internal controls, so you can keep an eye on your estimate that you created. So these are really handy, simple to use documents. There are instruction pieces here if there's questions on things, but really where all this kind of is based out of is if you go into settings. So we're going to exit out of here. Remember, we went here to pull this up for individual leads, but if we go over to settings and we go to contract detail estimate, these are your default settings for these estimates. And so this is where you set your standard sales commission. Is it based on, a percentage or something else? Is it based on profit without office overhead, or is it based on the insurance RCV or contract value? So some companies like to subtract office overhead and then look at the profit. Other companies will just do it off the gross number. And so this gives you the opportunity to set the default for your company. And then on the retail side, you can set your sales commission, the profit that you'd like to see, if there's any tax involved. And then if you're calculating your sales commission, is it off the retail price, profit without office overhead, or hard cost? And so you have some options on the way that your sales commission is calculated. And then these are some values that are on both the profit checker and on the retail price, material cost per unit, your labor cost per unit, different types of overhead. And so this gives you some unit of measure to kind of work from when you're setting your default values. So when you go to the filling it out at the individual lead, those default values are already set. And so all you're really entering at that point is the quantities. And when you enter the quantities, it's going to automatically calculate it. And by setting your sales commission methodology here as your default value, then basically when you go over to complete it for the individual lead, you're just entering, once again, the values, and it's automatically going to calculate that for you. This is not that difficult to set up. It really works extremely well, and it's very fast once it's set up and saved. We're more than happy to walk you through this and help you with this. So don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we can help you, set this thing up. And once it's set up and saved, then it's very easy to go into the individual lead and either come up with a check of the profitability of an insurance job or to generate a retail price. And that's a quick overview of some of the estimating tools that are inside of Toolsy. Thank you.